All right. We are live. Hello, hello, everyone. Welcome to today's show. We'll give everyone a moment to pop in here. I see Corbin is here with us. Hello,
Hi.
hello. Thank you so much for your moderation work in the chat. It is appreciated. And yay, we've got Emma here too. Hello, Emma.
Hi.
Beautiful frosty autumn morning in New Zealand.
Oh,
We
nice.
are, today was a little cold, but this weekend's going to be really nice up here. So, very much looking forward to that. All right, y'all. I am so excited to be here with the one and the only Leah Reinhart, who also
Hi.
is known to me as Auntie Leah.
Oh,
So, Leah is my aunt, and we, of course, go way back because we're family. But I'm so excited to share her work and her story with you guys today, to have her on to talk about all of the things from spirituality and kind of her awakening journey to manifestation and how tarot has fit into her journey as well. So we're going to get into it, and I'm so excited. So welcome, Auntie Leah.
oh, thank you very much for having me, Jake. I'm so
Absolutely.
proud
So
of you.
thank you. Thank you. All right. So before we dive into it, though, of course, want to show you guys my website. Make sure you know over there, I've got all of the information around my hypnosis practice. You can find more information. My bookings, of course, are here. And you'll find the free preliminary consultation as well as my other offerings. I don't have a group workshop coming up quite yet, but I'm thinking that I'll have one in June. So stay tuned for that, guys. Other than that, I definitely wanted to show you guys Leah's website as well. So Wellness Garden Toolshed is her thing. It is her baby and her creation. And she's got so much going on over here. So there's the shop. You can find all of her goodies here. The bundles are great. I'll just open that too if I can, because I wanted to show you guys if it loads the images. No, is it not going to like me today? All right. It's because I wanted to click on it that we couldn't. Check out her website. She's got her bundles on there. They're great for working with manifestation. We'll get into all of that in a moment. Her blog as well. We've got her free Shine Method course, which is honestly, it surprised me. I was super blown away by how thorough it was, how practical it was too. So definitely, guys, go check that out. She's also got her bookings as well, so you can book tarot, oracle, angel cards. Right? That's your thing there.
Energy reading, pretty much.
Energy
Yeah.
readings, sure.
Yeah.
We'll call it energy reading. So if you guys are looking for insights, Auntie Leah is a wonderful card reader. Corbin had a reading with her recently and really, really, really loved all of the information that came out, and it was super helpful to him. So let's see. Other than that, I was going to mention too, make sure when you go to her website, you guys sign up for her email list, because you'll get a coupon as well for discounts on her products. So definitely check that out. And let me just pop this down here. And we've got Ken in the chat. Hello, Ken. Thanks so much for joining
Hi.
us. I'm so excited for this show. All right. So I guess I should formally introduce you a little bit more as not only a tarot energy reader, you read cards, you read the energy. You also are a manifestation guru. I'm calling you that because you know a lot more than I do, and I'm so excited to dive into kind of your method, your lane, kind of how you approach manifestation. But before we do, anything you want to say right off the bat to the audience? I'll give you the floor for a moment here.
Well, thank you for having me. Thank you for people showing up in the chat. I'm excited to be here and be there and help with people on their journey of manifestation to a better life, and also empowering people, because that's really where it's at. When we feel better about ourselves, the world is a much better place.
Ain't it? It
Right?
really is about, yeah, it's really about that inner peace. And
Yeah.
there's, yeah, it's so important. And empowerment is definitely a big part of my work too. So I
Mhm.
feel like we really align on that. And I'm so
Absolutely.
excited to talk more.
Yeah.
So the only other thing, I almost forgot. Stay tuned next week. I did not pull up the card, so I'll see if I can grab that to show you guys at the end. I will be back on with Corbin next Friday for our next full moon in Scorpio show. That's going to be next Friday at 5. And then coming up soon is going to be a special collaboration that I have going on with Solrita Antaria. I know a lot of you in the chat are familiar with her and her work. So we have a special collaboration coming up soon. So more on that, but just wanted to kind of tease that today. And I love it. We've got Emma saying, I've bookmarked Leah's website already. So love it, Emma. Corbin saying fire. I think that was in reference to us going on, or maybe that was the empowerment talk. I don't know, but thank you, Corbin. All right. So all of the housekeeping aside, let's get into it. Oh, Corbin's saying excited for the collab with Soul. Me too.
Yes.
Me too. It's always a great time getting together with her. All right. So let's get into it. So first things first, I also want to show you guys her book. This is Leah's book. It is her first book. So she does have another book after this. This is all about her journey, her story. And I've read a good chunk of it. I'm still working my way through. I'm not always the quickest with books these days. I've got a lot going on, but I can already tell, and of course, what I know about your life and your story from being related to you. But you've been through a life. You've had lots of experiences, and you've had quite the journey. So I would love if you could start out by telling us a little bit about your journey, and especially about how you found spirituality and how that kind of played out for you.
Well, so I grew up in Oakland, California. I moved there when I was 6 years old from Hayward. And we moved because my mom actually got into a physical fight. Our neighbor attacked my mom, and so we had to move. So that was really scary as a young child to witness this crazy lady coming over and thinking she's going to kill us. And so we moved to Oakland, which is kind of ironic being it was like one of the most violent cities at the time, but whatever. My parents grew up in Oakland, so it was, they liked it there. So, but we lived in a nice hill. The hill was nice. But what was different about this hill was everyone on the hill went to this church. And it was an apostolic Pentecostal church. So they kind of dressed like Little House on the Prairie. People had horses and chickens and, tons of dogs, all this kind of stuff. So it was really kind of wild. But yet then I had this kind of opposite place to go to school, which was completely urban, violent, crime-ridden, low income, not the best neighborhood. So it was, again, we're faced with fear again. And I was afraid of everything, afraid of dogs, afraid of people, afraid of, I don't even know, just everything. So the church helped me because I went there and I felt like there was a place to connect with people. People were actually interested in my life and interested in me. And my parents kind of grew up in that era that, kids are over here and, they're separate. They don't really get involved. They're not going to be your friend or anything. And so, going to this church, I felt welcome. So I kind of got sucked in, and I'm kind of an all-in person. So I went all in, and being this afraid person that I learned how to pray. And so this particular church is all about you. They don't care if you pray for yourself. It's not like a self-absorbed thing, which I think that's kind of good, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, it worked, and then it started working for so many things like math and my spelling test, like elementary school, and then I was in track, and then I kept winning first place. I mean, I was very, praying for all the things I wanted to keep safe and all that, and it kind of worked out. And then I realized, there was a lot of other conditions in this church. So I was like, okay, wait a minute. This is starting to not really be my thing. And my mom had noticed when I was a kid, like I've always been into like psychic energy, astrology, intuition, all these kind of things. And my mom used to say that I would mention somebody's name and then boom, they'd call like 5 minutes later, and it'd be somebody she hadn't talked to for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
Or, you just would know things, and I would hear things that go bump in the night. And again, hence my praying. I was also very scared at night, hid under the covers. I think this happens to a lot of intuitives, that they have this anxiety because they hear things that no one else is hearing. And it scares you, the bejeebies out of you, right? So there was a lot of that going on too. So anyway, my mom actually purchased tarot deck back when I was like 12 and was like, here, play with these. But then I was kind of conflicted because the church was saying that was like devil work. So a lot of times there's a lot of scary mentality that goes with it, and fear. And, now that I've come to understand how all of this works and not put the fear energy into things, because in in my life, I realized, because when I left the church was like, oh, you're going to be worse off than you ever were. These bad things are going to happen to you, blah, 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 blah. And sure enough, they all did. So because I was afraid of it.
Mm,
So then I started understanding how fear, acting and responding out of fear, creates your reality, or praying for what you want and the goals that you're seeking actually manifest too, because the universe doesn't really put the negative positive spin on things.
mhm,
And it wasn't till in the 90s, I was a single mom for 6 years before I met Uncle Matthew. And it was rough. I was living not in a great neighborhood, or smoking crack in the laundry room, kind of a thing. I mean, it was bad. So I was like, okay, it's time to get out. And then I worked in the salon, and we started doing personal development. And then the law of attraction came in. I'm like, oh my gosh, this is the exact same as prayer and fear. Like, your energy is everything. Everything's energy. Attracts like. And I mean, it was amazing when I figured this out and understood this, that it brought so many things. I mean, I actually had a really bad pattern of picking relationships, especially it could be in a room of 100 guys, and I would have got the guy who was in prison or jail or something. And no one in my family did that, so I don't even know why that happened. But I literally had to break those patterns and start focusing on the type of person I wanted. And within 5 months, I met Uncle Matthew. 5 months. So the stuff started working. And I also wrote down that I would have a house, my own home. I would purchase a home by the time I was 25. I was 25, single mom. Everybody thought it was impossible. I owned my own business at the time. And where there's a will, there's a way. So I am kind of a take charge person and a hyper person. And I don't think anything's impossible. I think when other people can do it, why can't I? So I kind of go for it. Some things work out, some things don't. But for the most part, I would say the universe does have my back. And that's kind of how this whole journey started. The Wellness Garden Toolshed started because I was doing hair. I wanted to incorporate my yard because of garden, and then incorporate, tools that help manifest, because when you
mhm.
focus your eye on the prize, you end up getting there. So that is how Wellness Garden Toolshed came about. And so now we're just starting to blossom. So that's how we came
Yeah.
about.
Oh my gosh, I love that. There's so much that I want to dig into there, and some of them I already have as questions, so I'm excited that you brought it up. In regards to the relationship patterns, though, I definitely, what I've seen in my work with relationship patterns and that sort of finding the same type of person, and I spoke about this on a show recently about karma and relationships, but it's really about, I mean, it's the same thing as manifestation. It's about that
Mhm.
resonance, that frequency, and the lessons that you came here to learn in your incarnation, they attune you to that frequency that then brings in those other people. And so if you want to stop bringing in those people, you have to shift your vibration, you have to shift your frequency. And so whether that's through manifestation work or working with mantras or meditation or hypnosis, and doing a session like I can offer folks, that's all of those different ways can help you to shift that vibration. And it's,
100%.
yeah, yeah.
I know. I think the hypnosis is really cool because, like, I've had friends that have quit smoking through hypnosis.
Hmm.
And then actually it was ridiculousness. What's the guy's name on ridiculousness?
Oh yeah.
He actually went to a hypnotherapy this too, and totally like shifted his whole thing for success. And look at him. I mean,
Hmm.
and that was actually a pretty good interview I watched on I think it was probably School of Greatness or something. Rob Deirdre. There you go.
Mm.
And yeah, but he did it through hypnosis. So there's so many things that are so cool about that. I love it.
Oh, absolutely. And there's so many different ways that it can be applied, and it's such a personal experience that, I mean, 9 times out of 10 if someone comes to me and says, "Hey, can hypnosis help this problem?" I usually say yes because there's some way, and especially the way that I work with people's higher selves and
Hmm.
working with that subconscious part of you, it's really opens the doors to so much transformation and so many possibilities, and really like fast tracking the changes that you want to make, or shifting your vibration in dramatic ways very quickly. So It is
Yeah.
super fun.
Yeah, I'm
Um,
gonna have to be signing up on your little site there.
yeah,
I need to get a session.
come on down, come on down. I wanted to bring back up Corbin's comment. Yes, stepping out of that fear vibration is so
Mhm.
important, and I know that's something that we talk a lot about, both personally and on the
Mhm.
channel. That where your focus goes, your energy flows. Where your
Yeah,
focus
100%.
goes, you're either feeding something, or or wasting your energy, or building something that you want to build. So it's really about your focus and your intention. And
Mhm.
we'll get more into that with all of the manifestation talk here. But I also wanted to bring up Emma's comment here. So many great personal growth stories in this awakened community.
Um,
And so true, right?
yeah.
And that's what I love about these interview shows and being able to bring on guests, is that conversation and being able to hear other people's stories and hear other people's perspectives. Because I've heard a lot of different people say this idea of, like, we all got one piece to the puzzle, and like the more that we can put those pieces together, the bigger that we understand the picture, right?
Mhm.
Oh, and Lorianne, hello, welcome in. Thanks so much for
Yes,
joining
fake
us.
it till you make it, for sure. I did
Right?
that with hair when I first started out.
Hmm.
I didn't tell my clients that though, but
No, but it really is about
yeah.
stepping into that reality where you are
Mhm.
that person, or you are that confident, or you have that thing, or you have that job, or you have that place. Like, it's really about stepping into that, and forming your reality around it. Because
They act like or and like a lot of them say act as if, I mean,
hmm
don't wait for
hmm
it, to start doing the things that you want to be like, start doing them. If you like
oh,
somebody and you like where they're at, what are they doing? Start mimicking that. And it might feel uncomfortable at first, just like mantras or affirmations feel really weird at first because you're like, well, I'm lying to myself. Well, you'll get used to it. Like, my family was never into saying I love you. Like, that was so
mm,
weird. Like, my family still doesn't say that. Like, my sister and all that. We don't really do that. But my kids do it, and of course, when they were little, that was really easy, but as they get older, you have that fear of rejection that, "Oh, are they gonna say it back or something?" And so it was really weird to just force myself to start saying it to my aunt, to my grandma, and my kids. Now we say it all the time, and it's so easy, so same with affirmations, kind of a thing. It feels weird at first, but you'll get used to it.
hmm Oh,
Mhm.
absolutely. And that's, I mean, with so many things, where you're pushing your comfort and your boundary levels. I mean, it's going to be uncomfortable at first, and it's about, again, like, having some belief, and believing that you have the power, because you do. And that was one of the questions that I wanted to ask, was around what you mentioned already. Manifesting your first home by 25, and then, as you put it, the love of your life, Uncle Matthew, who's a great guy, at 27. And I'm wondering if you can share a little bit about how that those experiences showed you your own power, and kind of launched you into who you are now.
Well, so what was interesting is I've always been curious and I've been very fortunate to be a hairdresser that I've gotten to speak to a lot of people. So I hear their stories and I've been around a lot of affluent people and some not so affluent, but many are. And a lot, I always pick their brain. And it wasn't like being a nosy and saying, oh, how much money do you make or something. But, you get busy, you start talking, and people actually love to talk about themselves and share information. And they would put little things into my brain, little seeds would start to get planted. And I remember I was living in my apartment, and and in my family too, you're not a grown up till you own your own home. That's just it's one of these things. And so I couldn't, like, go buy a car, or have pets if I didn't, it's just I had to prove stuff because I was the first single mom in my family to have a baby without being married in this big Italian Catholic family. So I had to prove some points. So, but that was also expected to be an adult. But people started planting seeds. So one of my clients, he was a realtor, and he told me that, well, if you save at least the down payment for a house, you don't have to worry about your rent going up, and then you can paint whatever you want and do whatever you want. You don't, you just have what your mortgage is going to be. You might pay a little more with that, but you'll balance out with taxes. And I'm like, hmm. So then your reticular activation system starts getting activated. So then you start noticing all these little things that come to you. And maybe they would have came to you anyway, but you wouldn't notice it because that's not what you're focused on. And so one of my tenants was looking to or not tenants, one of my friends was looking to rent a room. So she was going to rent a room. And then I started saving money in my apartment. I was like, oh, this is really cool. But then I was like, well, shoot, maybe I can go rent a place or go see if I can live with my grandma. Mom's house, never going to be an option. I would never move in with them. But grandma was like, cool, you can move in with me. You can pay me some rent. And it was very minimal. And so therefore I got to save up money. And it was rough. I mean, you do have to do the work too. And so, I saved a down payment. And again, where there's a will, there's a way. I was in this not network marketing, but a networking group called LaTip. And there was also a realtor there at the time because this all was kind of over a period of a couple of years and 3 years to be exact. And so he kind of saw something. I think he saw my motivation or whatever. And so he actually helped me get into my first place. And so what I mean, there's a will, there's a way. There's a lot of creative financing that people think certain things are just too big. So they just shut down. Oh, I'm never going to save 10% or 20%. There's always a will, there's a way, always. And so I'm like, And so we were practicing the 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. We were listening to Bob Proctor, You're Born Rich, and Think and Grow Rich, and Og Mandino's book, and all these things. And I'm like, oh my gosh, this is actually working. It took time, but it works. I mean, big things do take time. So I was like, oh wow, I got this. I was building my clientele. Then I got another job offer. I met my husband. So I went from being completely like seriously broke at 21, 22 by the time I was 30, actually 29, I had 3 pieces of property, married, and 2 kids. So
Mm-hmm.
there's a lot that can be achieved. And I'm a hairstylist. I own my own business for a long time. I started renting my own space at 22. So there's always something you can do. So that's kind of how that journey went. But yes, there was work you had to do. That's why law of attraction plus law of action actually equals results. I mean, you can't just sit there and say, oh, it's going to come to my door. Sometimes that does happen. Sometimes it does, but not all the time. Sometimes you need to act on the opportunities that do arise and notice them and take some action steps
Mm-hmm.
towards that. Yeah. So that's how that kind of came about. But I wrote them down. I wrote down the stuff, especially with meeting Uncle Matthew. I had to really change my way and say someone who was nice, all the things I wanted, not what I didn't want. Because if you put what you don't want,
Mm-hmm.
that's going to show up too. So it was the framing and really focusing. I would meditate at night. I'd have my little ear tape, back then Sony Walkman on and listen to my little tapes or CDs, whatever was at the time, just to meditate, kind of put you in a self-hypnosis, then you fall asleep, but with the
Mm-hmm.
things that I wanted to. And lo and behold, still married. It's
Mm-hmm.
been a long time. I forget how long, but I don't know. It's a long time. So like
Mm-hmm.
almost 30 years. So, and it's still good,
Mm-hmm.
it's a healthy one. So I think I broke some patterns from my family.
Oh, absolutely. And
Mhm.
that's, I love that you brought up focusing on the positive things that you want, not the negative things you don't want, because I think so often we get in that negative mindset where we're like, oh, I just don't want another loser, or oh, I just don't want to live in this place anymore. And you're coming from that place of either trying to run away from something or try to push something away. But like you said, the universe doesn't understand the don't or the I don't want that. They just hear the thing, and
Mhm.
it's about that frequency, that resonance. And so it hears you saying loser, and it's like, all right, we're bringing you a loser.
Yeah, yeah. Another jailbird. All right.
Right. um yeah, I love the way that you put that, and it really, all of what you were saying reminded me of what I've seen in my work with future life progression. And some of you who've watched my channel, watched my shows, you've heard a little bit about this, but it's really about tapping into that future potential and drawing that towards you and like syncing your frequency up with that timeline that you want. And more than that, like focusing on it. And so, like you said, it's not about that instantaneous like magic, though sometimes it is.
Mhm.
But what I've found through my work is that, and I'm sure you can elaborate on this with your manifestation work, is you can only reach so far. There's a limit to how far you can reach because of where you're at frequency wise. And
Mhm.
if you're going to try to reach too far, then it's not going to happen. You're going to get discouraged. And that's where like breaking it down into steps, or
Mhm.
understanding, okay, what am I comfortable with, or what do I feel like I can reach, and going for that, so you get that positive confirmation or the affirmation. So I don't know if there's anything you want to add around that, but those were some of the thoughts that came up to me.
Yes, what it really stems down to, and this is actually something, I mean, we're always evolving and learning, and I've manifested a lot, but like I still need to work on some stuff because you don't just stop, right? So beliefs are so important because you can say things, you can have thoughts, you can think about stuff, but it's when you believe, your beliefs really do, your life totally reflects your beliefs.
Hmm.
And like you're saying, like, oh, I want a new place or something. Well, that almost sounds like, you know, I'm never gonna get it. You know what I mean? So it kind of has that energy of like, it's like I need to go because I want something, but it's already saying you don't have it and probably never gonna get it with that
Hmm.
energy. But then there's also the beliefs of like what you think you deserve, because we don't even realize our community, it's not always your parents' fault, and I want to clear that up. Like I am very grateful for my upbringing and how I was brought up. It might sound a little cold in the book, but I do believe that we pick our parents. I fully believe that, and they are here to teach us the lessons, like you said, karmic stuff.
Hmm.
And I'm getting it, and I think it just helps you evolve and grow. But the beliefs can be really ingrained in there. And like if you were told that money is the root of all evil, or only bad people get the money and all that, then you have this attitude with money, like, you know, if all guys were evil, are you going to want to be with that guy, or is that guy going to want to be with you if you don't like him? I mean,
Hmm.
it's the same kind of thing. And money's not bad. It's what you use it for. If your intention's super greedy, then yeah, that might have some effect on it. We've seen what greed does in the world, but we also see what good does out of the world with people who have a lot of money, who give a lot of money back to lots of organizations and technology or whatever the case is. So,
Hmm.
and we don't even realize that some of those little things, you know, affect us even when we're in our 50s, you know what I mean? So that's also super, what's the word I'm looking for? But, just so that you are aware of where your beliefs are. Do you believe you deserve a healthy relationship? Do you deserve happiness? Do you deserve abundance or prosperity or whatever the case is? And see what those hidden blocks are, and then you're like, oh, wait a minute. And then thoughts are just thoughts, and beliefs are only things you think about enough till you believe that they're true. They're not necessarily true.
Hmm.
So if your beliefs were one thing, they might not necessarily be true. So you might need to check yourself. That's kind of what I would add to that.
100%, absolutely. And I was just watching a show today where they were talking about the common saying of like seeing is believing, and it's really the opposite. It's like
It is not.
belief creates what you see, and
Mhm.
your beliefs are going to shape the reality that you see around you, the reality you create around you. And again, if you're thinking, oh, my beliefs are my beliefs, or my thoughts are my thoughts, I can't change those,
Yeah.
then you're not trying hard enough.
Yeah,
There's
you probably don't want, well, you want change, but you don't think it's possible because
Yeah.
you believe those stories you've been telling yourself.
Oh yeah, exactly. And that is where having a guide, or having a
Mhm.
mentor, having someone that can help
Yeah.
shake you out of that. I mean, whether it's going to a reader, or it's having a session, or it's going to your therapist. I mean, whatever works for you and whatever
Right.
like helps you, getting that support can help shake us out of those mindsets. And like you mentioned earlier, looking at other people and saying, well, that person has that thing, why can't I then?
Yeah.
Because there's no difference between their energy and my energy, but their beliefs and the reality they've created. And of course, it's a little more complicated than that from like a soul perspective, and with our
Right.
incarnational plans and stuff like that. But also, if you have this strong desire for something, there's probably a reason you have a strong desire for it. And so it's
Yeah.
figuring out, why am I drawn towards that thing? And if it's a healthy thing, then go for it. If it's not a healthy thing, then readjust.
Yeah.
Oh, I love it. Lisa saying, create it to see it. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yes. Oh, I love vision boards.
Yeah,
My vision board. Oh my gosh. Okay, I have to share this with you guys. So
please.
in my 40s, I was starting to ride dirt bikes and stuff. And one of my clients, her mom, she raced, so she talked me into it. And I was just like scared to death. But so I put on there that I would, podium or get like first place. And so my first race was terrible. I kept hitting the same tree twice and I broke my clutch. And it was like it was crazy. And I was like, oh man, maybe I'm not cut out for this. I'm not as good as I thought I was. I mean, it turned out they put us on the wrong course, so that really wasn't my fault. But
Mm.
anyway, so then we would do these other races, and I was just like, I get lapped by the faster women or whatever. And mind you, this is a beginner women girl class. And so then something happened, and it was a race, and finally I didn't get lapped. I was like, yeah, I did good. I didn't get lapped. So, and then someone got mad because somebody had dropped down into our race, so it's like sandbagging. And so I didn't care. I didn't write anything about it. Well, somebody made such a stink that they actually changed the groups and divided them into different situations. I got a first place. I got second place. I got it, and there's no way I should have gotten. But see, that's how it works.
Hmm.
And when Sam was little, your cousin, she had a karate meet or whatever, and she's so non-aggressive at all, right? And me and grandma and grandpa went with us, and we happened to go by the room where the big trophies were. And Sam looked at that and she goes, I'm taking one of those home. And she said it with conviction. And grandma and I are like, oh, okay. Turns out she goes into her class. They're not there. So she wins by default, even though she still had to do her kata 1. She took a big old trophy home. So I'm telling you, this stuff works. And Kyle with the prosperity, he got a bundle. He used the
Yeah.
candle. He had a thing. He did his thriller video on YouTube and posted it. And then I think it was either March or February that he meets Ola Ray, who was in the video Thriller.
Hmm.
I mean, so these things really do work, and it's crazy. But the more you notice them because of reticular activation system and gratitude, the more the universe gives you synchronicities to notice. So I think it's just like snowball effect. So I just had to share that real fast.
Oh, absolutely. And I was just pulling up your YouTube here, which I'm going to pop onto the screen because I forgot to show your YouTube here. But wanted to make sure you guys go check out Wellness Garden Toolshed on YouTube. I'm pretty sure I have it all linked down in the description. If I don't, I'll make sure that gets on very quickly here. But definitely go check it out. As which video was it where you were talking about that prosperity bundle?
Oh, I think it was right in How to Manifest Prosperity.
Oh, there we go. This one.
Yeah.
So you can go hear more about those manifestation real life examples. For those who don't know, my cousin is a musician, Auntie Leah's son, and has had lots of opportunities pop up after working with one of Auntie Leah's bundles here. So super cool stuff, and I really love how you bring in those real life examples, because so often, especially with manifestation, it can be very very out there, and I love your approach because it really brings it down to earth, and it's very practical. I don't know, do you have earth in your chart? Do you have a lot of earth in your
I
astrology?
have a lot of Aries. That's why I can't seem to sit still over here.
I suppose.
But actually, I don't have a lot of Earth. I have mostly Aries and then Pisces, Aquarius, a little bit of Earth in there somewhere, but
Yeah,
not
I mean,
too
we've
much.
all got it in our chart, but I was just
Yeah.
curious, maybe Corbin can can tell us.
Yeah, he knows I got all the Aries stuff
Right.
going on. So, but so yeah, I'm woo woo and I love woo woo, but I'm also kind of down to earth and a little more practical. I swear, I know that isn't always positive, but And I get mad too. I mean, I'm human. So I have the more down to earth, I think, approach as opposed to other people who are a little bit more woo than I am. But I love woo woo. Don't get me wrong. I love the
Oh,
woo.
absolutely.
Yeah.
I think, what I talk about with my work is, it's super cool to go to the past, super cool to go to the future, but how does that affect you here and now? How does that
Right.
affect your life? And I think with these woo topics, with
Mhm.
these concepts and ideas and ways of working that are outside of maybe the very physical 3D world, it really is about how do you bring it into the 3D? How do you work that in? Which it's funny that you brought up your swearing, because one of the quotes that I pulled off your website was, "The universe wants you to get off your ass and do something." Right? It was in your course,
Right.
and I really loved it because like it's just very to the point. It's very honest and blunt, and I think it really puts it nicely the way that you have to pair action with
You
the
do.
wishing and more of the mental aspect. So can you talk a little bit about how you approach that, or how action fits into manifestation?
Well, I mean, when you're manifesting, it's like sometimes it's not so bold like, oh, here's this tangible thing right in front of your face. It's a thought. And then, a lot of times we dismiss those thoughts. And sometimes you need to act on those thoughts. Maybe it's an idea that you could write down on paper, or you have something. So you have to act on it. You know what I mean? So, like, for example, that guy put all those thoughts about, why don't you go buy a house, or, you would save money, you know, taxes, you can build equity and not pay the government as much, and you have a choice or whatever. You just have to suck it up and save for a little bit. So there is a little bit of, I mean, I had a curfew, and I was a 25-year-old mom living with my grandma with a curfew. That was fun. But, but you got to focus on the prize. So there's certain things that aren't going to necessarily be right in your face. And then also too, with manifestation, it's interesting. Um, I am a sign person. I look for signs, and I think everything's a sign. And, like, whether it's like a squirrel that like looks you in the face and like yells at you or something, it would behoove you to go look those up, and it kind of tells you what you can use for that kind of a thing. So again, I think I'm always looking for something that's going to help me towards my goal when I'm manifesting. And so I think a lot of people might dismiss the little things. They want that big thing. And sometimes the big things happen. Because one time, I got to share one more story.
Oh, please,
So
absolutely.
I was hiking with my dog Lucy over at Chabot. I live close by a lake, and it's, has a lot of open space. And I've always wanted to see a bobcat. And and I was listening to Radley Valentine. He is an angel card worker. And he kept saying that the angels want you to ask for help. You just ask them for help. They're not going to help you if you don't ask. And I do believe that to be true.
Hmm.
And so I said, fine. So I'm walking my dog, and I'm like, all right, I'm going to just say, since you guys are saying this, Ariel, Archangel Ariel, I'm going to ask you, since you're with animals, I want to see a bobcat today. And if I want that as validation, I'm not trying to be rude or dismissive or, you know, uh, be disrespectful, but let's say that the bobcat will be the validation that what you're saying is actually true. And I heard in my own voice in my ear, you'll see when if you look hard enough. And I was like, wow, my snarky talk was fast and it was kind of messed up. And I'm like, I kind of looked around like, okay, this is weird. I was thinking, oh, thank God I didn't ask for a mountain lion, right? So anyway, we're walking. We finish our walk. I get in the car, and I'm over by the ranger station, and so it's still kind of open there. And I'm like, okay, I didn't see my bobcat. I didn't really expect to. It's like 2:30 in the afternoon, and I've never seen one out of all the times I walked over there, like never. And so I was driving out. I happened to look over, there was a bobcat. And it was, at first I thought it was a mountain lion because it was kind of, it didn't have the spots. And I'm like, well, I asked for a bobcat. And so I'm looking at this thing, and it was like ding, 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 ding. There's your bobcat. It wasn't even hiding. It was in the middle. And I'm like, so then I was like a crazy lady. I'm like, I got to see if this is a mountain lion or a bobcat, because you can tell by the tail. So I'm whistling, and then the ranger comes out like I'm some crazy lady. I'm trying to get this bobcat to get up because it was just sitting there. And I'm like, I can't tell if that's a bobcat or a mountain lion. He goes, oh, that's a bobcat. And I'm like, huh.
Hmm.
And I'm just like, whoa, oh my gosh, this is crazy. And I mean, like, even though I'm a believer, I get shocked every time, even all the time. And I'm just like, oh my gosh. And so I'm like, so how often do the bobcats come around here? He goes, well, I haven't seen one this close before. They're usually farther out. But I'm thinking, yeah, that's because I brought it in because I asked for it.
Mm-hmm.
And then all of a sudden, you know, the ranger's like, oh my gosh, I've never seen that before. So then there was this coyote going up to the bobcat. I'm like, okay, now y'all are just showing off. Okay. So it was, so sometimes things do happen really quickly. That was weird, but I think, and everyone's like, well, how come you didn't ask for, to win the lotto? Well, I don't play, or a sack of money. I'm like, well, because animals are connected with spirit. That's why I say always look at what the meaning is behind it, because they do have messages too.
Mm-hmm.
Even bugs do. Oh, but yeah, pay attention to the bugs too. But
Oh yeah.
it was so profound. Like, even when I'm feeling super down, or I have issues just like everybody else. They're usually pretty extreme, but that are kind of beyond my control. But I have to go look back at those things and remember, no, things work out. They work out. This is real. Your manifestations, keep that energy, keep your eye on the prize. It really works. So I'm hoping somebody can get some use out of that and try it out and see if it works for them, but give it
Oh
time.
yeah. Oh yeah.
Generally speaking, that doesn't happen, but oh,
Mm-hmm.
oh, wow. Oh,
Yeah, Emma's saying I saw a
oh,
bobcat on my
yeah.
lawn in my dreams. I think it was my
Mm.
3D cat showing his true colors.
Oh, wow.
And Corbin's saying, love it when our pets follow us into our dreams.
Oh,
I love
yeah.
that too, Emma. And Lorianne saying, come to my house. Bobcats run around here at night like they own the neighborhood.
I know,
Florida
they're
is
so
very wild.
awesome, right? I love it. They're so pretty. I just love them. And what do bobcats represent? Oh, they're the secret keepers. You can trust
Mm,
them, and they know what's up, and they'll protect you and guard your secrets. So,
I love that.
so maybe you
And
have something you want to share with somebody, that you
mhm,
can trust. So,
I love that. And it's
or you're the trustworthy one; they can trust you. There you go.
right,
Yeah.
right. We were on a walk today, Corbin and I, and we had a bald eagle swoop like right over our head. And I mean, fly like over there's like a little creek that goes by where we walk, and it
Mm,
was clearly looking down into the creek to see if there was anything to eat, and then it
yeah.
like passed us and was circling on like a
Oh
little
yeah.
lake, little pond that was passed, and it was so cool. I mean,
Oh yeah.
we've seen a few of those bald eagles up
Yeah.
close in the past couple of years, and
Nice.
we definitely connect with the animal energy, and
Yeah. Well, that's
definitely
your
I agree.
connection to source right there.
Oh
It's
yeah.
telling you got it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I love it. I love it. Oh, I love it.
Oh my gosh, Corbin telling the same story in the chat.
Yeah.
Right,
Yes.
right.
Well, they're like, they're in there. That's a constant reminder. Don't forget your connection to source. You
Mm-hmm.
know,
Oh
God,
yeah.
source, you call it whatever you want. It's all the same, I think.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I
Yeah.
think so often we get caught up in the semantics,
Yeah.
and like, I mean, when we get past the earthbound stuff, and I know the ETs are not your lane necessarily, but they're kind of mine, and I've
Yeah.
definitely seen the ways that getting past Earth. I mean, there's very little spoken language often. I mean, oftentimes it's telepathy. It's
Yes.
more of that frequency or that mind to mind communication, and then we here on Earth get caught up in, well, you're saying God and you're saying
Yeah.
source.
Yeah.
It's like,
Yeah. It's,
okay,
yeah.
but what's the concept behind that?
Right.
What's your belief underneath that?
Yeah.
And I think the more that we can realize that we have more in common than than we don't,
Right.
I think it can help us to create the world that we're hoping to build.
Yes, absolutely. And I don't know enough about aliens. I don't, or all that kind of stuff, but I don't dismiss it,
Yeah.
because that would be so egotistical to think that we were the only life forms of life, right? In the galaxies. I mean, come on. The
Come on.
universe, I mean, it's so huge. Like, that would just be arrogant to think that. So,
Oh, absolutely.
yeah.
Absolutely. Um, okay. I we're getting close-ish on time here, so I want to make sure that we cover everything.
Mhm.
Um, let's just jump into kind of your method of manifestation, which is the shine method. And I guess I'll just open the floor to you if you want to share a little bit about how you came up with that, how that works, whatever you'd like to share around your method of manifestation.
So the S is it's an acronym. So shine is so it's like um, having like a serenity kind of place to be calm and get yourself in a calm place, right? And just quiet the mind because the monkey mind is very busy. Hope is the H, which is there's always hope. In any situation, there's always hope. So, and then intention, of course, you want to set your mind to what you want. And so, what is it? Do you even know what you want? That being clear on what it is you want is seems a lot easier said than done. Everyone thinks, oh, I want this. And they're like, well, what does why what is exactly or is that, and then again noticing, like I was saying, notice that a bobcat showed up or it was in your dreams are telling you what your subconscious mind wants to know, and some dreams are visiting dreams, and some dreams are even prophetic. I've had very few prophetic dreams, and of course I don't know they're prophetic until they come true, so that's just my deal. Other people know their stuff, I don't. And then it is all about empowerment because when you combine the calm place and get quiet, and when I mean get quiet, I don't mean even listening to um like a meditation music type of thing or a mantra. At that point it's like if you just breathe in and feel your body and like the air going into your lungs, and then you kind of blow out the air and just really be mindful of that. And it's super hard, but start out with 5 minutes, try to see if you could build up to 10 minutes, and 15 minutes would be great. You will trip out on what kind of dreams you have after that. I mean, like it's super weird. And then hope is always there in any dire situation. And trust me, I've been surrounded by a lot of death and in my life growing up and tragedy and things like that. And it's not that, oh, you're going to feel better about those situations, but you can focus your attention on something that's not going to bring you down, because your life is going to be forever changed if you've lost someone that's close to you and you've experienced that hardship and tragic moment or whatever. But there are other things to focus on. And you can hope that because you're still going to move on, and your loved ones always want you to not sit there and mourn forever. I mean, they just don't. But I know that's, again, easier said than done as well. So, in any situation, there's always that silver lining. There's always that little glimmer of hope that when you start seeing it, it actually starts to get bigger and bigger and bigger. So you can get out of those negative spiraling thoughts or depressions or whatever, or anxiety or whatever. And then with intentions, your brain can only have one thought at a time. Now, I know all the ADHD people and ADD people, ADHD and all that is going to probably say, wait, mine does this. And I'm like, no, it's rapid fire, but it's only one thought at a time. And you really have to make a conscious effort to intentionally think about what it is you want your focus on. And believe it or not, when you do that, and honestly, it takes what, 28 days to develop kind of like a habit, and then to really start hardwiring your brain, it takes about 90 days. And the brain has neuroplasticity. That's kind of where I get into, like, I like woo, but I also like the science behind it. And and intentions is it's quantum physics. Like literally, the observer can influence the outcome of something. That we know this through science, and you can
Hmm.
have more than one outcome of one situation. So to me, if that doesn't give you hope, I don't then you're doomed, I guess. No, I'm just kidding. you know you the,
Hmm.
then you want to get it. Then that would have to be like, okay, why are you in that doom and gloom state? And that's where you'd really have to get into clearing out the mind and getting calming that monkey mind down to actually be able to focus on things. I mean, I had this one client just recently. She makes up all these scenarios of what everything can go wrong. I mean, I think there's some kind of OCD thing going on. I'm not a doctor. I'm not trying to be one, but I was like, man, you and her life's pretty good. She goes, I know, I don't even have all these bad things going on. And I'm thinking, well, maybe you need some bad things to go on, take your mind off the made up ones, you know. It's like, whoa. So again, intentions, and you know, you intentionally have to force yourself to think a new way if you're stuck in those old patterns.
Hmm.
And then, you know, and then that, what does that do? It gives you empowerment, because when you start seeing that you can change and you do start producing, that gives you your power. I mean, then you don't have to rely on, is the government going to do this for me? Or is my parents going to do this for me? Are my friends going to do this for me? You start realizing all the stuff is within you. That's what I learned about having my parents. My parents did not show me love. They're not like that. I mean, it was assumed they loved you, right? Because they're parents. But, and it was so weird. I had a client who, she had parents that doted on her, but we had the same kind of feeling. And I'm like, how do we have the same feeling? Because you have to learn to get it from yourself. You can't get it from your parents, the lack of, and if they give you too much and then you don't learn how to do it for yourself, that's another thing. So everything comes from within you. So that's boils down to your life reflects your beliefs. So
Hmm.
what do you
Hmm.
want to believe? You can change it. Neuroplasticity.
100%. I know, and I agree. I feel like I'm at a point in my understandings of the world where I don't necessarily need the physical proof per se to believe in something that
Right.
that I know or that I feel, but the ways that science is sort of catching up with more
Hmm.
of the woo concepts and these
Yes.
things that have been around for a while, but now we're able to understand them at a new level and in a new way. And I really think that the science of it all is a tool for awakening and
Hmm.
is a way that a big chunk of the world is going to shift into a more awake state, and it's going to be that trigger for them, because there are people that need that very tactile, physical, within the system sort of
Hmm.
proof,
Yes.
rather than just relying on faith or maybe even their experiences in their mind. Because I mean, I see this with clients where people will come and they'll have an amazing experience. They'll have a phenomenal vision of their past life or whatever it is, and then they'll say, I just think I'm making it up though. And it's like, what? You're having this profound experience. I mean, so often, these visions are paired with emotions too. I mean, I have people crying on the table,
Hmm.
like sobbing at emotion from a lifetime that isn't theirs,
Right.
theoretically. It's a past life, and so and yet they can still doubt and they can still have those moments. So um when you were talking, I brought up your website because I got the
Oh,
photos to work,
yay.
because what I love about the way that you work with manifestation is, yes, you have your method and you have like the techniques there, but it also brings in the product side of things with and I'm not wearing my crystal or my adventuring bracelet because I
Mhm.
forgot to grab it from downstairs, but utilizing kind of all the different senses, whether it be touch or sight with your crystal bracelet. You have the essential oils in there. You have the candle. You have the little canvas print that has that imagery that really aligns with the intention. And so, do you want to talk a little bit about kind of the bundles or how your products fit into the manifestation work?
Yeah, so really what it is, it keeps your eye on the prize, because that's like, it's like vision boards. Vision boarding works because it's like in your face. And then like we have the health bundle. Like sometimes people kind of forget what they're focusing, what is it they want in life, or even prosperity or happiness or more love in their life. And it's just a reminder of what you're supposed to be thinking about when you start to go astray. And the mantra that's on each canvas, again, is you're brainwashing yourself basically. And we all know that, like, sense of smell really can alleviate or elevate your intentions or your energy as well. Like grapefruit or citrus is known to bring happiness, and certain, and let's see, I think it was lavenders for health and things like that. So we kind of paired those up with each bundle, and you can buy them separately also. But it's just it it's a reminder is what it is, because again, sometimes we forget what we're being clear on, and we just, it's that visual stimulation, just doing all of the senses to get you back on track. So will
Mhm.
these bundles literally do all these things for you? No, you have to do the work. It it all boils down to you, but it's just something that kind of can help boost up the mood and create ambiance and get your mind in that flow so you know what you're thinking about and how you want to manifest.
I love it. I love it. And I think it's such an important piece because I mean, we so often acknowledge this that the world is full of distraction. I mean, there's so much distraction out there, whether it be your phone or the
Mhm,
news or your problems, your bills. I mean, there's so many different things that are built
mhm,
into our world to distract us. And so the more that you can support yourself in remembering what you want and remembering what you're focusing on and again bringing in all those different senses
mhm,
because I mean it's the same when I'm doing a meditation or I'm guiding someone into hypnosis like we're working on all of the different senses and kind of
mhm,
bringing all the different pieces of how you perceive the world into what you're focusing on or into what you're seeing in your mind's eye and
mhm.
I think that it really helps to amplify and build up that work that you're doing. And like you said, it's not about, oh my God, this bracelet made me rich. It's like,
Yeah,
no, I made me rich. And
yeah,
this bracelet helped me remember and helped me to
yeah.
uh, boost that frequency. Because I definitely think crystals have their own
Oh,
frequency and
oh,
their own
they do. They
consciousness.
totally do. This my desk has everything has a
Hmm.
vibration. All the little molecules make this stuff up. So
Hmm.
everything, and that's where I think people think, well, it's an inanimate object. Well, no, it's still made of something. It still has, you can still put it under a microscope and see atoms and
Right.
subatomic particles.
Yep.
So, oh, nice.
Yeah,
Okay.
I wanted to bring this up. Corbin wore the aventurine bracelet during our new moon video, which got more views than our last one. So bringing in that abundance
Hey, I
already.
know you guys are, cause man, you guys are on fire. I used you in my video too with the manifesting
Yeah,
because like you're on fire. I love it. And I'm excited. I think you're doing just so great.
thank you. And another
Oh,
great one
oh,
from
nice.
Corbin. He made a roller ball with your lavender sage and
Oh,
then some labradorite crystals. Uh,
nice.
we make those little roller balls with the essential oils and crystals that are charged up.
Yeah, no,
And
I like yeah, you were doing all those little resin things too.
yeah. Oh, yeah. We have lots of resin things
Yeah, yeah,
too.
yeah.
Where was there was another comment that I want to bring up. Lorianne saying, "In my mind, I replaced intention with focus, and that was the
Mhm.
switch button, making manifesting take less time."
Awesome.
I
That's
love that.
yes, exactly. Yes. Yeah, because the focus is that intention is intentional thinking, which is focusing, which is yeah, whatever word you use, that's exactly how it works. I mean, that's awesome. Yes, yes, 100%.
Hmm.
Yeah, I love it too because I know maybe it's selfish of me. The better that everyone is, we will live in such a nicer place, right? I mean,
Oh,
when people are
absolutely.
happy, they're not saying mean, nasty things and they're not doing bad things on the news that you would see or whatever. And so I don't know, maybe it's selfish, but the stuff it worked. And so I want to share it with people. That's kind of where I really come from. It's like, no one taught me this in my family, and you want to I thank God my kids actually listen to me because it's working. I mean, it's hard to be
Hmm.
a musician in
Oh,
this
yeah.
world, and that's what he's doing to support himself. My daughter's a real estate agent. She got her little bundle, had the best year ever. I mean,
Hmm.
she passed all of us up. So
Right.
I mean, I don't know. I guess I like the proof because it's amazing. But um, this when you put your mind to something, it works. We're more powerful than we even realize. That's
100%.
that's really the bottom line. So, and I
100%.
love that your hypnosis taps into that because
Yeah.
that's what you're trying to awaken, right? Just like, yeah, it's the same thing, right? So I
Hmm.
think it's so fabulous.
Oh,
Yeah.
absolutely. And that's one of the reasons that I love hypnosis so much
Hmm.
is because it allows you to bypass that conscious mind, that monkey mind.
Yes.
And it's not about like getting rid of it or
Mhm.
like shutting it down. I mean, because so often your monkey mind's still there during a session. I mean, I had
Oh,
a client the other day who literally was like having to talk to his monkey mind to be like, "Hey, calm down. We're good. We're safe. Like, let's focus on this session and having and the experience here." But it really is about bypassing it and tapping into that deeper part of you, that subconscious part of you, what I view as your higher self, and that this is allowing you to sort of fast track your progress. And whether it be manifestation and you're trying to break old patterns, like
Mhm.
you can certainly do that on your own. Oftentimes, though, without a guide or without support, it can take a lot longer.
Mhm.
And I've definitely seen the ways that with clients, like you can fast track things, and it's that quantum leaping piece of it.
Yeah.
And we didn't talk a lot about it today, but the future progression that I do, and taking people into the future, really aligns a lot with the way that you talk about manifestation. And it's really about giving people that vision of the future that they want to build, and beyond that, helping them understand those actionable steps to get there.
Mhm.
Because it's all grand to see yourself super successful and with the money and abundance that you want and the happiness and all that, but how do you get there? It's
Right.
not magical overnight most of the time. Sometimes
Yeah.
it is, but
Yeah, right. Yeah.
usually it takes us a little more work. And
Yeah.
that's because these things, they start first in the energetics, they start
Mhm.
first in that the ethereal, the astral, like however you want to look at it, and then you're
Mhm.
bringing it into the physical. And as we know, the physical world is ruled by time, at least to an extent. And
Yeah,
so we have to work
to an
within
extent.
that. And sometimes it takes a little more time than we
Yeah.
think.
Well, and also too, sometimes you don't the thing is we always try to see, "Oh, well, how's this gonna work?" It's impossible. Sometimes you don't need to know all the steps. Just start at the first one
Hmm.
or at least something. And then it's like driving at night. Your light only shines so much to where you're going, but then you get the next step, the next step, the next step. So, you know,
Oh,
it's like that.
absolutely. And
Yeah.
I see that too with my work. I mean, people
Mhm.
don't always get every single thing or every piece of
Yeah.
information they're looking for. I mean, there's some ambiguity to the future. There's also some things that it's not the right timing for you to have that information. Or the higher self often talks about it like trying to get the answers to the test before you've taken the test. It's like
Right.
you got
Yeah.
to take the test. That's why you're here. You're here on earth to live and
Right. Yeah.
experience.
Exactly. Yeah. So, and that I think like too when I use cards, a lot of times it shows either like kind of a block or what your talents actually could be, and then but then again we all have like willpower. I mean, or not willpower. We have freedom of will and choice, and that sometimes that energy shifts. So that's why things might end up a little differently.
Oh,
So,
absolutely, absolutely. And I think too, understanding that free will piece is really important, because
mhm,
it is not about determinism, or
right.
manifesting isn't about, oh well, I didn't get it, so I'm not meant to have it, or I'm not supposed to have it. It's really about, okay, well, look at your actions, look at
Mhm.
your mindset, look at what you're putting out into the universe, and what's going on inside of you, to understand, okay, why
Or
isn't
did you
something
give up
happening,
too soon?
right?
A
Oh,
lot of people
absolutely.
they like, oh, it didn't happen and give up. I'm like, wait, but what if it was your next step that did it and you stopped?
Hmm.
So, things do have a gestation period, just like anything.
Absolutely.
So,
I love this comment from Corbin. Really love the message of taking action to manifest. Huge part of Aries initiation this year into next.
oh, right. Oh, yeah. Oh,
Hmm.
that's right. Huh?
Hmm.
Because yeah, the Aries in what is it? Neptune? Is that what it's in?
Neptune just moved into
Oh,
Aries.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, there's a
And
lot of Aries shifts happening
oh yeah,
within
no, I
the
get my
next year.
Saturn return. I got my North Node, and oh yeah, the Moon. Yeah, I got it all.
Oh, yeah.
I had a lot of it.
Well, I have a quick request from the audience, if you're willing. We had Emma asking, Leah, would you do some tarot for us?
Yes, of course.
Wonderful. So
All
before
right.
we close the show, I would love, I don't know, should we just do a general message for the audience? Is there
Does somebody
um,
have a question they want answered? Let's see about that.
any suggestions in the chat on questions? Otherwise, we'll just kind of do a general message, maybe around manifesting for those watching, for the collective
Okay.
watching.
All right. So let's see. So I'll pull 3 cards. So that'll be like what the situation or the general theme is, and then we'll have 2 clarifying cards. So I'm using the Angel Tarot deck. This was
Love it.
my first deck I got when I went to Hay House. You can do it, or I can do it tour, or something like that. That was pretty awesome. Okay, so the first card is 5 of air. Uh-oh. So we might have some skeptics out there, huh? 5 of air is kind of like, all right, so when we're manifesting and we're having this awakening shift, not everybody's going to agree with it, and there's going to be a lot of talk that's going to poo-poo it. So this would be mindful of who you're hanging out with and who you're sharing your ideas or goals or beliefs or whatever with, because people will want to poo-poo it because, again, they want to see the science behind it and they don't believe like we do or whatever. But that's okay. You just don't go around them. So that's rather interesting. And then let's see what the two supporting cards have to say. What is this about? Yeah, it's about learning. While you're learning and doing these things about awakening your soul or connecting with source, or even tapping into your own power or abilities, you might have some of your own, whether you read tarot or psychic, or like I do a little bit of mediumship, but I don't advertise it because I'm not really that great at it yet. So I'm still learning with that. But like a lot of people don't believe that. They think it's weird. So it's okay to be sacred with your space. You don't have to let everybody in. And then let's see what this last card has to say. And Six of Earth. Okay, so this is balancing. So I almost feel like for anybody who might be doing a business, you too also, is that, again, don't let the negativity get in the way. Walk away from that stuff, because this is kind of a walking away, like doing something different. And then, of course, we're still learning about what we're doing. So it's okay to keep learning and even go as you can learn as you go. And then the Six of Earth is also, it's like says Six of Pentacles, which is really about giving and receiving. And it's really a good money card. This is a money card. So if you're feeling stuck, it's probably because there's a negative either attitude or other people kind of getting in your ear. And it's this is good because you can learn from them. Get away and then notice the difference, because you're learning at the same time. And then you can make that cheddar and have an abundance life, because this is also about giving and receiving, and it's a balancing of money, but it is kind of like paying loans off and things like that too. So it is a good money card or inheritance card. But so I would say there's probably some people out there watching this that are really into it, but then they keep hearing people say that, oh, that's just woo-woo nonsense. Oh, you're one of those people. Oh, yeah, right, whatever, blah, 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 Bye, Felicia. Because in the long run, this is helping you learn and grow, and also it will be prosperous for you.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I would have to say.
I love it. I love it. And the discernment piece, I think, is so important. And understanding that not everyone's meant to stay in your life forever or to have equal access to your life either. And I think it takes that discernment to understand, okay, is this person building me up, or are they, an obstacle or a challenge? Because not everyone is meant to be in our inner circle. Not everyone is meant to, share everything with everyone. And I think that's a really positive message for helping us to anchor into our own belief. And I mean, that's central to what I do as well, is like, go inward, go into that inner part of you and your own wisdom and your own truth, because that's going to be the best truth for you. And it's not about not ever listening to anyone else, but it's about how does that resonate with you, and listening to your own truth.
Absolutely. Yeah. So.
And I love this. Emma loving the fairy on the Six of Earth card, of course.
I know, right? Yeah.
And Lisa saying, I have
I
that
know,
deck.
I love my little fairies. I know I'm going to a party, a graduation party, and it's a fairy tale theme. So I got my fairy outfit. Oh, yeah.
I love it. Oh, Corbin saying, Jake, do you have a card too? Do I have a card? I mean, I have a bunch of decks behind me.
I know. It's kind of a sickness, I think. I have so many decks, and now I only stick to a couple few that I use mostly, but it's like a collection obsession.
I want this one. Yeah, I'll pull you guys one card before we go, since Corbin asks. We're gonna do the Sacred Geometry deck. Let's see what shape comes out here. Okay. Oh, how funny. This honestly reminds me of the fairies, but it's an angel here. Let me see if I can get me onto the full screen there.
Oh, yeah.
So very much that angelic energy. It says nucleus, which, oh my gosh. I mean,
we're not talking about quantum physics.
Right. I mean, I think this is just doubling down on that idea that like
Right?
it's
Yeah.
as above, so below, or like as within, so without, right?
Right. Yeah.
The the universe is contained within ourselves, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
And who's your nucleus? Who are you surrounding yourself? You might need to check yourself on that.
right, right.
Yeah.
Oh, I love it. I love it. And I think too, we were talking about the angelic energy. I think remembering that we have support as well in this. We have support from whether it be angels, our guides, your
Yeah.
ancestors, your higher self, like however you want to
Yeah.
look at it, you have that support from beyond. And so understanding that even though it might feel like you're alone, or it might feel like you're fighting this uphill battle to manifest, or especially if you're in a situation where you're a single mom, or you're doing things on your own and you're trying to make it work in this world, like remembering you have that support, asking for that support, like we were talking about earlier, the angels, your guides aren't going to override your free will. You got to ask for it.
And
And so,
and it's also, there's something comforting. Like, I know some people that are maybe atheist and, wouldn't probably be watching this, but they carry the burden all the time. Sometimes there's just certain things that are too heavy. And if you can give it up to spirit, whatever, it's like, it's so helpful.
absolutely.
Aw.
Yeah, and
Thanks.
I love this from Corbin. The chat has fairy and angelic energy. Absolutely.
Yes. Oh, I love fairies too. I do.
Hmm.
And I love the
Hmm.
angels. Yeah,
And we
absolutely.
got Emma asking for you back. So I think we'll
Oh,
have to do
yes.
another show.
Oh, well, and you know what? Okay, I have to figure out how to do. I've never done a live on YouTube, and I've never ever had a guest on there. And because I want to ask you about the future progression stuff, because I
Yeah.
definitely want to know more about that. So you're going to have to show me how to do this, and so I can learn how to do this, because I really do want to know about the future progression life
Yeah.
stuff. Yeah,
Oh, absolutely. I would
yeah,
love to. And,
yeah,
we have Lisa DiMartino in the chat,
yeah,
and
yeah, yeah.
Lisa is on Deep Dives in the Desert. That's her channel, along with Johnny,
Okay,
her husband, and Emma. So I did go on there. What was that, a couple months ago? We talked
okay,
future life progression. So if you haven't checked that out, definitely
okay.
check that out.
Yeah, I'll check her out
That
too.
was a good show.
Yeah.
And what else? Yeah, everyone, lovely energy in the chat. So thank you all
Thanks.
for
Thank you.
participating and for hanging out. I'm gonna just go back over here and toss up all the juggling. All right, toss up Auntie Leah's website here. Leah Reinhart over at the Wellness Garden Toolshed. Remember, you guys can get your tools for manifestation over on her shop. Definitely sign up for blog updates, because she puts up great content on her blog as well.
Thank you.
I encourage you all to download the free course, because, like I said, it's super all inclusive. It's very like practical and action oriented, but also just like very much fleshes out this idea and gives you real exercises to do. And I love this. You will give people feedback on one of the exercises in there. So I definitely encourage you guys to go check that out. As well as booking if you're interested in a session with Leah, and getting some energy read, understanding situations in your life or things coming up. And I saw here, if I can find it again. I can't. It's too far up. Lori Ann was asking about like a May reading, and I definitely encourage you guys go sub to Auntie Leah's YouTube, which I will just navigate over there, because she does weekly energy readings and daily energy readings, right?
Yeah, I do the shorts are the daily ones, and then the weekly one I usually do a 10 card spread. I do a Celtic cross because it's just easy for me to tell the story that way.
Hmm.
And then there's different topics that kind of come up on that. So, and then sometimes the weekends I'm a little rough on the shorts, but yeah, I do the shorts, a daily 3 card pool. So
I love it. I love it. So yeah, definitely go check out YouTube website, Wellness Garden Toolshed. And of course, go check out my website for bookings and more information about my practice. I do offer those free 30-minute consultations. So if you are like Auntie Leah and want to know more about future life progression, or you want to know more about past life regression or my other techniques, definitely book a consultation, because I'm happy to chat through your goals, what you're looking for, any questions you might have about the process, because it can be a little mystical to some people. It can be a little unsure about what actually happened. So I'm happy to answer questions. And I did pull up, I have not scheduled it yet, but I got the thumbnail made. Corbin and I are going live next Friday for the Scorpio full moon. We'll be doing the astrology and an activation and talking through a little bit about the full moon and how to work with that energy and make your life better for it. So all in all, let me pop us back up. Auntie Leah Reinhart, thank you so much for your time today and for sharing with us. Do you have any last words or any last messages for folks?
Not really. I think we covered it all. I'm just so thankful and grateful for everybody, and I'm looking forward to people manifesting their dreams. Really, we're all in this together, and our energy is that much stronger when we're on the same page. So I love it.
Oh, and did you want to say like a quick bit about your upcoming, was it a course that you were
Oh
working
yeah,
on?
I do have an upcoming course. It won't be free, but it's going to be awakening your inner queens. And so because everybody has all this potential inside, it doesn't come from anybody else, it comes from you. And so it will have the tarot queens on there because they all possess certain characteristics that we all have and use. So yeah.
Oh, I love it. I love it. I'm excited for that too. We've got some great comments in the chat. Ken, looking forward to the next show. Everyone sending love.
Thank you so much.
All right. Oh, and thank you, Emma. I appreciate that. I do some card pulls myself on my shorts.
Yes, you do. I've been checking those out too. Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you all for sticking over the hour with us here. It's been a super great time. I've really enjoyed chatting with you, and
so
we will
much.
definitely have to have you back because, I mean, clearly we could talk for hours.
I know, right?
All right. Sending everyone love. Thank you so much to you all for your participation in the chat and for bringing your questions and your energy. Love you all. All right. Talk to you all soon. Bye for now.